Welcome to My Story Plus, the magical podcast where, every night, we dive into a world of enchantment and adventure. I'm your host, the weaver of dreams and tales, here to guide you through forests of fantasy, over mountains of mystery, and across seas of sparkling stories. Whether we're flying with dragons, dancing with fairies, or solving puzzles with pirates, each story is a journey waiting just for you. So, snuggle up, close your eyes, and let your imagination soar. It's time for a story, and tonight's tale is just about to begin. Welcome, little dreamers, to My Story Plus. The story of Bella's Botanical Ballet truly began. Each morning, Bella would skip out to her garden to greet her friends, Rosie the Rose, with petals soft as velvet, Timmy the Tulip, bright and cheerful, and Oakley, the wise old oak tree, who had stood watch over the cottage for generations. One morning, as Bella twirled her way through her usual rounds, she noticed something unusual. Rose's head drooped slightly, and her petals lacked their usual vibrant color. Timmy seemed to shrink into himself, his once bright face now looking tired and faded. Even Oakley, steadfast as ever, had leaves that hung heavy and dry. "Good morning, Rosie," Bella chirped, bending down to her level. "You don't seem quite yourself today." "What's wrong, oh, Bella?" Rosie sighed, her voice as delicate as a dewdrop. "It has been many days since the rain has kissed us, and my roots are parched. We all need a good, long drink to perk back up." Bella's heart sank as she looked around her once thriving garden. The problem was clear, but the solution seemed far from reach. Determined to help her friends, Bella raced back into the house, her mind whirling with ideas. She knew she couldn't make it rain, but she wanted to bring relief to her beloved garden. Bella returned to the garden armed with her small watering can, which was painted with cheerful daisies. She filled it to the brim and began her rounds, starting with Rosie. She poured gently, talking and singing to Rosie as she always did, but the water in her can vanished before she could even reach Timmy. Seeing her efforts make little difference, Bella fetched the can again and again, but the garden was too large and her can too small. As she worked, the bees and butterflies whirred about her, drawn by her usual songs. They, too, seemed to notice the garden's plight, their playful dances turning into concerned flutters. "This won't do," Bella muttered to herself. "I need more water, and fast." Not one to give up, Bella next dragged the hefty garden hose to the middle of her garden. She struggled to control the spray, which splashed wildly, soaking Bella more than the flowers. The scene turned comical as Bella slipped and slid, trying to tame the unruly hose. The water splattered over the leaves and petals in chaotic bursts, turning the garden path into a muddy mess. Exhausted and drenched, Bella turned off the water, panting. She looked around at the mess, her heart sinking. Their hose had been too much to handle. She needed another way, something that would bring water without the chaos. Determined, Bella thought of a new plan. She fetched 2 large buckets and filled them with water from the tap. With great effort, she carried them to the garden, her arms trembling under the weight. She managed to water Rosie and Timmy this time, giving each a decent soak. But by the time she reached Oakley, the buckets were nearly empty, dribbling out the last few drops. Although Rosie and Timmy perked up a bit, it was clear that this method wasn't enough to sustain the whole garden. Bella sat down beside Oakley, feeling her spirits wilt like the leaves around her. "I'm sorry, Oakley," she whispered. "I tried everything I could think of." From above, a soft rustling sound came from Oakley's branches as if in response. "Dance, Bella, dance for us," the wind seemed to whisper through the leaves. Bella stood, wiping the dirt and sweat from her face. She took a deep breath and began to dance among the flowers and trees. She danced with all her heart, spinning and leaping, her watering can still in hand, sprinkling the last of her water drops like tiny blessings. As she danced, dark clouds began to gather above, drawn by the rhythm of her heartfelt ballet. A soft rumble echoed in the distance, and then, as if by magic, rain began to fall. Gentle at first, then growing stronger, the rain soaked the thirsty garden, reviving every leaf and petal. Bella danced and laughed, twirling in the rain, her garden joining in the celebration as every plant seemed to dance back, vibrant and alive. The rain brought life not only to Bella's garden but to the whole village. Neighbors peeked out their windows, smiling at the sight of the little girl who had danced the rain to life. That evening, Bella's family hosted a small feast outside, the table laden with treats, surrounded by the lush, joyful garden. Bella shared her adventure, her voice bubbling with excitement. It was like the garden and I were dancing together. And then the rain joined in, she exclaimed. Everyone listened, captivated by her tale of perseverance and love for her garden. As the stars twinkled above, Bella sat under Oakley, now lush and green, his leaves whispering in the gentle night breeze. "Thank you, Bella, for believing in us," he seemed to say. Bella's story spread throughout the village, inspiring others to see the beauty and power of caring for nature. She had learned that even the smallest dance, when done with love and hope, could call forth miracles. Bella knew that whatever challenges came, her love for her garden and her joyous spirit could make a difference. Her botanical ballet was a reminder that art and nature, when harmoniously combined, create magic that can touch everyone's heart. And like the last whisper of the wind, our story tonight comes to a close. Dreamers of My Story Plus, remember, in the world of imagination, adventures never truly end. Keep dreaming, keep believing, and I'll be here, waiting with a new tale to explore. Until then, good night and sweet dreams. See you in the next adventure.